Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again here on what day is it? It's Tuesday? Wednesday? Tuesday.
You got it.
We sure it's Tuesday?
Positive, yeah.
Damn, I thought it was Wednesday all day until you just told me it was Tuesday.
You always do. I think it's always Tuesdays, too.
Is it Tuesdays?
I think it's always Tuesdays. You just blank out on Tuesdays.
I literally thought today was Wednesday pretty much all day. I guess I had it right at one point because I checked in with Drew Wagner, who joins us at 3:20 on Tuesdays and Fridays. So I knew at one point today that it was Tuesday to check in with Drew. But outside of that, I'm pretty sure while I was eating lunch prior to the show starting, I was convinced it was Wednesday. Anyways, coming up on today's show as we broadcast live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, and where we are broadcasting on YouTube, streaming live, baby. Check us out. All you have to do is go find us on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ symbol at The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube, and you can watch us as we stream all of our shows, all of our local shows live here. We put shorts up every night, the whole deal, and Charlie Wirtz and Charlie Usen and Tommy Wirtz do a great job of cutting all that up and producing everything on the video side of things, plus all the audio stuff on the Odyssey app, and you can go back and listen to everything there, or tune in, or iHeart, wherever you download your favorite podcast. I guess moral of the story is this show will be there, as will the Mason Crosby Show and the Pack-A-Day Radio Show. Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, comes up at 3:20, brought to you by Focus Baseball, as we go inside the clubhouse. Looking forward to getting his thoughts on the Brewers just on fire, heading into what is the All-Star break, sweeping the Nationals going into that thing, and getting his thoughts on Mizorowski and how this whole thing is played out and what he's looking for tonight out of him and Trevor McGill, as they both will have their opportunities. Now, Freddie Peralta is there, I believe, but will not be pitching, obviously, because he just pitched this weekend, and he'll pitch Game 2 coming out of this break. Mr. Priester will lead things off for the Brewers Game 1 coming out of the break, so we'll see how that goes. Also coming up today, Nate Snead. We had Nate Snead on this show last summer after they won the national championship, and he is a pitcher for the Tennessee Volunteers, or was, but he was drafted by the Los Angeles Angels, the last pick of the third round on MLB Network on night 1. He, of course, a South Milwaukee grad, lives in, I believe his family's still in South Milwaukee as well. Played for Prospects Baseball Academy, all that fun stuff. So we'll talk with Nate Snead and talk about that whole draft process and what that whole thing is like when you're being scouted by pro baseball teams and so forth. His skipper made Vitello made a great little couple of comments on him on MLB Network after he got drafted, so we can talk to him about Vitello as well. So that comes up at 4:20. Plus, the Brewers drafted their first baseman from the Volunteers, so we'll get his thoughts on Andrew Fisher too. 4:40. Normally we have, in case you missed it, right? In case we missed something earlier in the show, we talk about it. Today, no. Today we have an interview. David P. Sampson, former Marlins president, now does Nothing Personal with David Sampson. You can catch wherever you download your podcast there as well. You can follow him on Twitter at David P. Sampson. He's going to come on today, give us his thoughts on the Brewers, give his thoughts on the trade deadline, and he is none too happy with a decision that was made by Major League Baseball to allow the Rays to continue to play at George Steinbrenner Field, which is a very small field where they've been playing their regular season games, in the playoffs. I will let him explain to you why he is none too happy and is rooting for the Rays not even to make the playoffs now for the sake of everybody involved. So we'll talk to him about that coming up at 4:40. Today is all about Jacob Mizorowski. Today is all about the Miz coming out and doing his thing. I want to know this. They're saying that he's going to pitch. You got seventh inning on here?
That is what Kurt Hogue reported, yes. So seventh inning is where we should expect him at least.
Really? I didn't know they were so specific.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, I would expect that when you have so many guys that you got to get into these games, I'm sure there's like 1 to 2 pitchers that probably don't care if they pitch at all. I'm probably pretty sure Trevor McGill may be one of those guys who may not care if he actually pitches in this game right now. But when you have so many guys to get into the game, I'm sure as a manager, you plan ahead where you're going to put these guys in.
I just don't think I've ever remembered ever hearing when a pitcher is going to pitch for the Brewers in the past. Maybe I've missed it. This is definitely a first for me. Like, I don't ever remember hearing Corbin Burns is going to pitch in this inning, and I don't remember hearing it. But that's good.
Corbin Burns wasn't Jacob Mizorowski.
That's my point. Right, exactly. They want everybody to know, right? So it's, hey, Dave Roberts, not only is he on your team, but you are going to pitch him, and we need to know what inning so we can promote it throughout, right? They don't want to waste Mizorowski, say the 3rd inning, and then everybody turn it off. You want to stretch this thing to the back third of the game and let Mizorowski come in at that point. Also, you have no idea where in the batting order it's going to be, but if it plays out, it should be somewhere towards the top or middle of the batting order when you get to the 7th inning, you would think, right? So that's interesting that we know what Mizorowski is going to pitch. So with him set to apparently, according to reports, Kurt Oak, pitch in the 7th inning for the NL All-Star team. Is this must-watch TV for you tonight as a Brewers fan? And what are you expecting to see from Mizorowski against the AL All-Stars coming up tonight? Nikolai Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. A great piece by Tom Verducci, who is with MLB Network, writes for SI still and yet, and does all that stuff. And Verducci wrote a piece on Mizorowski today. Highly suggest going to SI.com to check it out and give it a read. Really, really well done by Verducci. And in here, he's got quotes from Mizorowski. Now, I don't know if this was a one-on-one with Mizorowski or if everybody else had these same quotes, but this is the piece that I read. So if it was a deal where everybody got the same quotes, fine, but I read Verducci's. He talked about being 6'7", right, as a senior in high school, and being really skinny. Now, he's already really skinny at 6'7". He said that he was at about 165 to 170 at 6'7". I am 5'6". The most I have ever weighed in my life, I believe, is 158, maybe 160. That's when I decided to try and run the marathon, and thank God for my girl Karina Stuckey for trying to get me prepared to run said marathon that year. But I've never been to 165 in my life. I'm 5'6", but I was at almost 160 at 5'6". He was 5 pounds heavier and a foot taller than me. Like, I can't even comprehend that.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. The last time I was 165, I think I was in like sixth grade.
How tall are you?
I'm like 6'3". About. So I'm taller. I'm not a short guy. I'm not a small guy by any means.
Were you tall all the way up, or did you have a growth spurt at some point in like high school?
I was pretty tall all the way up,
through?
and then like 5th grade, I like really shot up.
Really?
And, like that's when I started gaining a lot of weight, and then it evened out a little bit. But I'm still like a bigger guy. I can't imagine ever being as tall as I am at 6'3" and being 165. Like that sounds insane. So being 6'7" and like that, like I feel like I'd break my bones.
Clearly, you could pull it off.
I don't know about that.
If he's 6'7", 165, you're 4 inches shorter. Clearly, you'd be all right.
I don't know about that. I think, a little bit of the husky is part of the charm to me, Sparky. Tommy would agree.
Okay. Anyhow, so that was pretty funny to me. Then Mizorowski, I printed the thing off because I wanted to make sure I had it and read it exactly. So he continues Mizorowski with the scouting report. Right? And so if somebody was writing a scouting report on Mizorowski, he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. This was in high school. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs. He doesn't always know where it's going to go. He knows, be ready to get hit. So I think that's the biggest threat. It's just don't get hit. So Mizorowski is pretty much telling you he was a real-life Wild Thing from the movie Major League. He was a real-life Charlie Sheen of, I'm throwing it hard. It may hit in 6 different places, and none of them may be the catcher's glove, and we'll just see what happens. So then, he goes to Crowder Community College and does his thing there, and then has the opportunity to go to LSU, as we all know, to go pitch with Paul Skeens at LSU, and instead signs for first-round money in the second round with the Milwaukee Brewers at that point, which is pretty good. I got some good stats for you. You ready for some good stats? This is really good because Verducci did a great job of defending Mizorowski and being involved in this whole thing at the end of the day. First things first, when he talks about Mizorowski, he talks about the fact that this is, should be a game of entertainment, not a game of, not a war calculating exercise. I can talk today, Charlie. It's going to be a long day if I can't figure this out. So Verducci says that, and you're like, okay, that's fine, no big deal. But wait, here's one. Those undeserving 5 starts, Verducci writes, are historically great. With Les Mis, which I've not heard anybody call him yet, but I'm all about it as a person that likes musicals and so forth. With Les Mis winning 4 times with 33 strikeouts and a 2.81 ERA. Only 5 other pitchers started like that through 5 starts. Beginning with Noodles Hahn in 1901. You remember good old Noodles.
I love old ball player names, dude. It's probably one of my favorite categories of athletes.
Cy Blanton in 34-35 season. Bo Belinsky, that's a great name, in 1964. Yu Darvish in 2012. And Jesse Hahn, it starts with a Hahn and ends with a Hahn, in 2014. Those are the only 5 people to do what he's just done in his first 5 starts.
I mean, Yu Darvish I know for sure, so that's pretty good company. I would assume those other guys are pretty good company. I mean, that's pretty impressive, man.
Now he goes on to talk about the actual process of who they got. Pitchers who pitched Sunday obviously were clearly out when they decided they had to go find somebody else, such as Christopher Sanchez of the Phillies. He pitched Sunday. They're not going to invite him because he can't pitch. MLB asked Ranger Suarez, his teammate in Philadelphia, to pitch in the All-Star game. He declined. According to one source, this is from Verducci of SI, Tom Verducci, MLB went through 13 more pitchers, 21 in all, before they landed on a willing, able, and yes, deserving Mizorowski. You could pick a relief pitcher having a good season, such as Emilio Pagan, or you could pick an honest-to-goodness sensation. Mizorowski says what he loves most about pitching, quote, just competing against the guy in the box. I think that's the coolest part. You get to face the guys that are, in the show. You're like, holy cow, it's that dude. And now you're like, okay, I got to beat this guy. Let's go. That's kind of who Mizorowski is. Nobody in that Phillies clubhouse should say boo. Dude, one of your own guys told him no. Maybe Ranger Suarez should have walked down to talk to these idiot hitters and said, hey, yo, just shh. They came to your boy here, but I don't want to go, man. I'm good. I don't want to waste 4 days, going and do that. I'm good. Shut up. So now it leaks out that they actually went to other people before they got to Mizorowski. This wasn't them being Swami-like and going to Mizorowski first, which is what I fully would have supported. They tried all these other guys and got declined of guys not wanting to be in the All-Star game. So imagine that. You could have had a guy that didn't even want to be there, or you get Jacob Mizorowski, who they're leaking what inning he's pitching in to make sure everybody tunes in, Charlie.
I think when I was talking about this yesterday, I said that the MLB loves this. This is the type of information that ruins any kind of love that the MLB had for what was going on here. When you go and you select Jacob Mizorowski for the game, you like the controversy that comes with that. You like that the other players are speaking out on it. But then when it also comes out that you've went through 21 players that don't care about being in this All-Star game, you all of a sudden start getting lumped in with the other All-Star games that in the other leagues that those players also don't care about. Like I said, the MLB All-Star Game was one of the last ones where it felt like the league still kind of cared about what was happening. That home run derby yesterday, going into the end of it and having it won over basically an inch in the semifinals, that just kind of showed it with a rule that nobody knew before that either.
Nobody knew.
That makes it so much worse. It just makes it seem like your biggest event in your All-Star weekend, you don't care about that, and now you have this information coming out saying that the players don't care about it. Man, this is not looking good.
No, doesn't look good at all. And this guy's here to save the day for you.
Struck him out with a curveball. Mizorowski pitches around the leadoff double. He K's Ohtani, K's Freeman. 1-0 ball game as we go to the bottom of the third, and the Miz taking center stage.
He's going to be center stage tonight. I guarantee you that. He is going to be center stage tonight. That home run derby last night, okay, cool. I want to hear the oohs and the ahs tonight when he's rolling up there at 102 or whatever the number may be coming up tonight. Really want an immaculate inning tonight out of him. That would be amazing. It's never been done in All-Star Game history. It would be amazing. Is this must-watch TV for you as a Brewers fan? What do you think it's going to – how's this going to play out? Nikolay Law fan, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. It's a no-brainer. Like, I don't see how, if you're a Brewers fan, you are not tuning in to watch this. And if you're not watching, if you can't watch it, at least you're DVRing this thing so you can go back and watch it tomorrow or later tonight when you get around to it. Because I know people are busy, families are busy. God, I know that firsthand. Like, tonight, we're going to be off to the races as soon as I get off the air at 5 going to do stuff. So I totally understand that. But you've got to at least have this. You have to at least be able to say you watched this dude's all-star game and what all happens. Because tomorrow, good or bad, that's going to be the conversation across Sports Talk Radio tomorrow. Tonight on SportsCenter, if people will still watch that, it's going to be about what Mizorowski does in the 7th. And if he pitches lights out, let me ask you this. If they win this game, the NL wins this game 1-0, 2-1, and this dude throws an immaculate inning 7th, could he win MVP?
I mean, maybe. And that's pretty possible. And if he wins the All-Star MVP, Sparky, it all of a sudden doesn't become Rookie of the Year conversations, man. Like, that's kind of goes to Cy Young conversations almost. That's kind of nuts.
Look that up while we're thinking about this. What is the minimum amount of starts for the Cy Young Award? Let's just look and see what that number is. Because, again, he's going to be on an innings limit, or at least that's what Adam McKelvey had said before. 50% over last year. So that's like 147, 148, somewhere in that area. 145 would be the innings limit that he would have. Is there a minimum starts or minimum innings required for the Cy Young? I would assume there is.
So, from what I can see, there isn't, but the least amount of innings anybody threw to win a Cy Young in an actual full season, so like Trevor Bauer and Shane Bieber in 2020 won the Cy Youngs.
That was shortened COVID.
Season. Yep. So the real full season for anybody to win a Cy Young in the least amount of innings was Raleigh Fingers with the Milwaukee Brewers in 1981 with 78 innings.
Oh, because he was a closer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, he could definitely win it then.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely could maybe pull this off.
Say one of the first starters on this list is Milwaukee Brewers' Corbin Burns in 2021 with 167 innings.
And he'd only be like 10 or so innings short of that.
Yep, and he's the third starter on this list with the least amount of innings.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine? This dude comes in, goes to the All-Star game, throws like an immaculate inning, wins MVP, and then wins Cy Young in his first year. And the agent is just laughing at the Brewers like, dude, you can't afford this. Like, I'm hanging up the phone. Goodbye. Like, I mean, we're done. We're not talking. You're not going to come at me with numbers. You brought up Garrett Crochet yesterday as a number. If that's the number, it's around $30 million a year. They can't afford to pay this cat $30 million a year. And if he wins Cy Young in his first year, forget about the All-Star MVP and the immaculate inning and my dreams there. But if he wins Cy Young in his first year, damn near a half a season.
I mean, but if he does that, the potential of being one of the greatest players of all time, then at that point, like you have to give him the contract. Like
the Brewers can't afford to give him that contract.
I mean, if I'm Mark Adonasio and I see that's like the Bucks getting Giannis. That is the same thing, and I think the Bucks are forever elevated in NBA history because they have a Giannis.
Let me explain something again for the 5 millionth time. If Atanasio's family and his investors own the Bucks, they never would have won a championship, and he would have been long gone by now because he would never have been able to afford. Not that he wouldn't want to, but he wouldn't have been able to afford to spend hundreds of $1 million in luxury tax money just because, plus the player salaries and payroll on top of all of that. There's no way that ever would have happened. He couldn't have afforded to do it because he doesn't have the money to pull that off. That's what makes the Buck situation so special, that they had dudes that did not care about the finances and just went all in to say they have a ring.
I'm not saying they have to win a ring, this Milwaukee Brewers team. I think it is extremely important in pro sports nowadays to try to find a player that you can lock into your franchise for long term, just because guys just don't do that.
They did this. They did this with Braun. Whoops, he cheated. They did this with Yelich. Whoops, he ruined his knee and his back. They did it with those two. They've given long-term contracts to Peralta. Minimal, but that worked out. They gave a long-term contract to Aaron Ashby. That's starting to work out finally this year. So we're getting there. So, I mean, they've given long-term deals, but they always do it ahead of time before they get to that arbitration point. Usually is how this works. Now, Braun, they got to early and extended later. So that's a little bit different. Same with Yelich, because Yelich was with the Marlins and then got here. But, I mean, yeah, I don't think they can afford to pay anybody $30 million. I don't care what year it is. I don't think you could justify it.
Rookie Cy Young, though, man?
I know. I understand. Dude, I get it. I'm just telling you, I don't think they can afford to pay it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think they can afford to pay it. Time for your fan weather forecast. 87 degrees, partly cloudy skies going on right now. Now, I looked through. It looks like we're good for the skies the rest of the night. So if you've got any type of outdoor activities, you should be good. I grilled out the other day for the first time this summer.
What'd you grill?
Burgers.
Yeah,
burgers. It was good. It was like literally the first time all summer we had a chance to actually grill out where we had nothing going on. And it was nice. We'll get to grill out more here because kids' last baseball tournament is this weekend, and then we got nothing after that for about a couple months. Anyways, so clear skies the rest of the night. A low of 70 degrees, however, tomorrow, about a 46% chance of storms possible tomorrow afternoon. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Steve Sparky, Fifer, Charlie using other side of the glass. Thanks for tuning in today. Lots of baseball talk on the show, obviously. Plus, we'll get to our green and gold update. Brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Mind-blowing stats on Rashawn Gary. We've been kind of hammering Rashawn Gary. Mind-blowing stats on Rashawn Gary that you'll want to tune in for at 4 o'clock. And then trying to rationalize what the numbers mean. We'll do that as well coming up at 4 o'clock. But we're going to go Packers here in the second segment. We haven't gone Packers in the second segment of this show probably in a month or so or more. Normally it's Brewers and Bucks have been dominating here as of late. We're going to go Packers. And it's not going to be me stomping for, hey, Trey Hendrickson isn't signed. Let's give up the farm. Nope, I've done that enough. It's not going to be me stomping my feet about TJ Watt's not signed. Let's go do something. Nope, we're not going to talk about that either. But it is relatable to or related to those two. It's a pass rusher. He's a free agent, but he's older, but he's available. And there was a report from our very own Brian Baldinger, Odyssey NFL Insider, that in talking with the agent for one Von Miller, that apparently they have 3 very interested teams in Von Miller. Now, as was pointed out in this story, I think it was Pro Football Talk that had it, that Von Miller really don't want to do training camp. Really don't want to go out there and sweat his tail end off and work and da-da-da-da-da. So more than likely, Von Miller is going to wait before he signs this deal. Because once he signs, he's going to have to go. So maybe he waits till the beginning, first preseason game maybe, or somewhere in that area before he finally signs. Who knows? But you can do this, right? Because everybody's going to need pass rushers. I don't care who you are. Most teams are going to need pass rushers. As we sit currently, we are all in the boat of cross your fingers, cross your toes, pray to God that Lucas Van Ness can turn into something decent. That's the hope right now for the other edge rusher. Von Miller is a proven commodity that is a vet. He is older. Yes, I understand. But I believe he can still get the job done somewhat and might be able to help a Lucas Van Ness, an Ngabari, or some of these other guys that can get after the quarterback a little bit. The question is this. Do you think the Packers should be one of the teams interested in trying to bring Von Miller in to play for them this season? They have cap room. They can make this work financially on a 1-year deal or 2-year deal, whatever it is that they want to try and get this done with. I like the Von Miller aspect for 2 reasons. The same reason why I was pretty down with the whole, pretty good to go with the Chris Paul situation, which is you bring in a veteran guy that shows these guys how to do the job correctly, how to watch film the way he watches film, right? What to look for when he's in game situations standing on the sidelines and they're talking about what happened in the last series and they're looking at pictures and they're doing all that stuff. Not saying Rashawn Gary can't do that or Rashawn Gary doesn't do that. Rashawn Gary has the guys over to his house and they do all that stuff. That's all fine. But Rashawn Gary has been there the entire time. Von Miller has been around this league for a minute, right? He's had all types of different coaches, played with all types of different players. He's got some more tricks up his sleeve than maybe Rashawn Gary does at this point, would be my guess. That he can pass on to Rashawn Gary and to others in different situations. It could be, hey, Rashawn, I know you're going up against this tackle. Dude, this dude's a sucker for A, B, and C. Set him up with this, come back with this, you'll get him every time. That type of stuff. That's why you bring in Von Miller. Even if Von Miller doesn't get 15 sacks or 12 sacks or 10 sacks, whatever. The knowledge that he would bring on a not so big of contract, more than likely, for Von Miller, I think makes a lot of sense for the Green Bay Packers as I continue to beg and plead with this team to get an edge rusher. Just like I begged and pleaded with the Milwaukee Brewers to get a third baseman with some pop, and they ignored me. Now I'm begging and pleading with the Packers not to ignore me and to please give them another edge rusher to help out Jeff Hafley's defense What say you? Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Sound off with a recorded voice message there on the Odyssey app, Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Charlie Usen, you know I would like them to go get any pass rusher of significance at this point. Von Miller, the latest to be out there. Not going to cost a draft pick. Don't got to trade a player. You sign the dude. You bring him in. Let's go.
You're also signing a 35-year-old.
I know he's old.
Who's been injured on and off for the past 4 seasons. And who has had off-the-field legal problems for the past 3 seasons. These are all kind of things that if I'm looking at this Packers team right now, and I look at guys like Enigbare and Lucas Van Ness, and I say, yes, maybe they could learn something from a guy like Von Miller, but at this point in their development, we don't need them really to be learning new things. We need them to show that they are capable of being just quality football players with the things that they already know. And both those guys haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis. And I know you want to eventually teach them new things, but we need to know right now with the tools that they have that they can be quality pieces for this Packers team. And I think adding another guy into that mix, a guy like Von Miller who may not be on the field all the time, whether it's because of injury or because of any other decisions that he makes otherwise, doesn't help the development of these two guys and doesn't allow these two guys to showcase what they can do best, which is what I think this Packers defense is looking for in the second year of Jeff Hafley.
Von Miller, games played. 13 games last year, 12 the year before, 11 before that, okay? So 13, 12, and 11 the last 3 years. In those 3 years, he had 6 sacks last year. He had 0 sacks in 23 in 12 games played. And then the year before that, he had 8 sacks. The last time he was in double digits was 2018. The last time he was at 9 or more was 9.5 in 2021. And that was between Denver and the Rams combining stats. 5 at one team, 4.5 at the other.
Man, I know you want a great pass rusher for this team.
I want a pass rusher for this team.
I just don't think he cuts that mark for me. I don't think he crosses that line into what this Packers team needs. I think he's maybe right before it, but I think adding him just does not help out with this team right now. I think adding a Trey Hendrickson obviously elevates this defense. He's not elevating this defense. He's just creating more issues for this front seven and finding who's going to be that next guy.
Here's Charlie Usen, C. Sparky Fifer with you. Potawatomi Sportsbook, that's where you are going to want to be as well. 30 different sporting events at one time. 2,000 square foot center screen, 6,500 square foot space. 2 levels. That second level, you can take your company, rent it out for a business lunch or meetings. You can rent it out for parties. If you like to have your birthday party, whatever else there, they will rent it out to you on that second level. It's got a private elevator, whole deal. So make sure to check into that if you're looking for like a little small group function. There's not a ton of space up there, but there's enough space. We've had a group function up there before with Mason Crosby, did some autograph signings and stuff like that, and it was awesome. And they can bring the food up there for you, set up like a buffet up there and the whole deal, and very cool. Now, for those of us that are going to throw some shekels down on the games, go to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, man, come on now, right? I always say reserve ahead of time. It's a nominal fee, goes towards your food and beverage. Food and beverage is outstanding. Outstanding. We're talking about the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen. Delicious food, delicious desserts and pastries made right there on the spot each and every day. 48 beers on tap, a dozen different specialty cocktails to go along with it. Right there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook to reserve ahead of time. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook to reserve your seat or your table ahead of time. Now, I know, I'll be okay. Okay. I've been down there multiple times now where I've had to stand. So, for me, I don't want to stand for 3 or 4 hours. I'd rather reserve a seat and make sure I'm good for the night or during the day doing that. But it's up to you. Want to roll the dice? Go ahead. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this Milwaukee Brewers team. Bart Winkler, who does nights here on The Fan with the Infinity Sports Network from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. A couple years ago, this was back when the previous version of The Fan was still on the air back in 21-22, had deemed this Brewers era as the golden era of the Milwaukee Brewers. They made the postseason 7 of the last 8 seasons. They have yet to get to a World Series. My question is this. How would you define the last decade for the Brewers? As a Brewer fan, how would you describe or define what the last decade has been for this Brewers organization? We'll talk about that coming up next. Nicolay Law, Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Check us out on YouTube as well at The Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ symbol at The Fan Milwaukee. Like, subscribe while you're there checking us out. Please do that. Still to come, Andrew Widener, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, presented to you by Focus Baseball as we go inside the clubhouse. Coming up at 3:20. Make sure to go to focusbaseball.com. All their tryouts going on this month right now. If you want to try out to make have your kids try out to make one of their teams, they're a big proponent of girls baseball as well. So if you want to check that out. Plus, still to come today, Nate Snead, Angels 3rd-round draft pick from South Milwaukee, part of the Volunteers championship team. Teammates with the Brewers' 1st-round pick, Andrew Fisher. So we'll talk with Nate Snead coming up at 4:20. And David Sampson, one of my favorites, does Nothing Personal show and podcast with David Sampson. He joins us at 4:40, former Marlins president. We'll talk about the Brewers. We'll talk about the trade deadline. And he is very outspoken about Major League Baseball's decision to allow the Rays to stay and play their postseason games at George Steinbrenner Field, even though the capacity is super small. And he'll explain why he's so mad about that whole situation coming up at 4:40. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Sparky here, Charlie using over there. Brewers baseball, they get back to playing coming up on Friday. Don't forget that 1 hour before every game, we have the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wirtz does an amazing job before every game. I mean, you go, the Building a Winner segment goes over all the different games from the night before in the minor leagues, get you updated to knowing who the good players are, who may be struggling, all that fun stuff. Gives you lineups 3 times in that hour. Out of every break, you get starting lineups for the Milwaukee Brewers to know who's in the lineup if you're going to the game or just checking in while you're driving, because you shouldn't be checking Twitter and be on your phone while you're driving, as we all know. So he's updating you on that. You'll hear from Pat Murphy before the game, all that fun stuff right there on the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook before each and every Brewers game. So this Milwaukee Brewers baseball team has been something else for the last decade or so. And they find guys every once in a while that they're able to capture lightning in a bottle with and have an unbelievable year from.
Here's Andrew Vaughn, and he sends one high and deep to left. Andrew Vaughn has another one. RBIs in each of his first 4 games as a Brewer. And his second home run in those 4 days. A no-doubter.
Andrew Vaughn is going to be another guy, it looks like, that they're going to pick up off the scrap heap and turn into something. And the Brewers have been doing this for quite some time. Now, a lot of times it's relief pitchers that they turn into closers. They become all-star closers. And this has been going on for quite some time, dating back to the Doug Melvin era. But from Braun and Fielder all the way kind of through here has been quite amazing. And really, if you start from Stearns and Counsell, even more amazing. Like we said earlier, 7 of 8 times they've been in the postseason here the last 7 of the last 8 years. And the last time they were in the NLCS was 2018. A long time ago. We keep getting to the postseason and keep getting bounced out of the postseason. And that's kind of how this whole thing ends up looking at the end of the day. How would you define the last decade for the Milwaukee Brewers? Bart Winkler has said that it's the golden era of Brewers baseball. How would you define it? Nikolay Loft, fan talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Facebook and Twitter at the Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a voice message on the Odyssey app. It is free. It is easy. And that way you don't have to, be sitting on hold on your phone. You don't got to be seeing if we read your tweets or Facebook posts. None of that. Boom, you send it. It's recorded. Charlie gets it on his side, and we play it right back. And as I've said before, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It can be sports. It can be about some idiot driver on the interstate or on the road. It can be about something that happened in a store. It can be about anything. Doesn't matter. Don't swear. Make sure we understand you. And more than likely, we'll play it if we get some good and funny ones in here at the end of the day. All right, Charlie Usen, how would you define the last decade for the Milwaukee Brewers?
I would agree with Bart Winkler that for the Milwaukee Brewers franchise alone, this is the golden era of the franchise. Now, with that being said, that doesn't say much about how much this team has impacted the history of the MLB in the past 10 years. And I think you look at some other organizations around the league and teams that may have only won one World Series or may have had kind of brighter runs, I guess to say, than the Milwaukee Brewers during this time.
White Sox have a World Series with Ozzie Guillen. Cubs have a World Series. Victory, the Marlins have 2 World Series, not in the last 10 years, but just in their franchise history.
Atlanta is a team that doesn't really have that rich of a history in the past 25 years, and they have a World Series in that time. I mean, you're looking at other teams that are in the same boat as the Milwaukee Brewers, and yes, this Brewers team has been successful, and it's been fun to watch them in the regular season, but too many times do I watch that last game of the regular season and say, well, the season's over.
Yep.
And that's just really unfortunate to have to say.
So, I guess for me, bittersweet? Is that a way to define the last 7 of the last 8 years? Now, to the point of the owner of this baseball team who says his job is to provide an entertainment of fun. Yeah, they've done that. That's not debatable. That's not arguable. That is a fact. they have provided summers of fun more times than not since Mark has taken over ownership of this team. When he took over ownership of this team, he pretty much said he wanted to just have this team be competitive year in and year out, right? Just be in the thick of it for the postseason every year, and that's kind of what he was looking for. That's exactly what's occurred. They are in the thick of it, whether it be for a wild card, whether it be for the division title, whether it be winning divisions. It's not like the Brewers haven't won divisions. They've been winning divisions. They've been getting in on wild cards. They've done it every which way. They just can't seem to make that run in the postseason. They keep getting bounced out early. See the Milwaukee Bucks. So it's the same type of deal for the Milwaukee Brewers right now, where they can't seem to get on a run. This is the most wins, correct, Tommy, Charlie, that they've had at the All-Star break?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So it's the most wins they've had. Their front three. Now, you can have the conversation of Burns, Peralta, and Woodruff. You can have that conversation. But the idea of having Peralta, Woodruff, and Mizorowski to be your front three in a rotation, to go with the back end of McGill, Uribe, and the guys that they have back there that they can throw, this may be the best chance that they've really had since Braun? Maybe? Is this really the last time they've really had this type of run? I mean, Yelich, obviously, as well. But this seems like this is about as good as it's been in several years to where going into the playoffs. Now, again, they all have to stay healthy for the next 2.5 months. But providing everybody is healthy going into the playoffs, your front three, you're going to feel really good again about going into any playoff series, regardless of what team you're facing in the NL.
Well, and if you go back to some of those teams that were led by Ryan Braun, and you look at just the all-star players that were coming out of those squads, those teams were stacked with all-stars.
Correct.
Just all the time. It was Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder, and you had those couple of years of Carlos Gomez sneaking into the all-star game. You had K-Rod in the bullpen closing it down for you night in, night out, helping out. Giovanni Gallardo. You had all those players. The Brewers have 3 total all-stars, and 2 of them were only all-stars because other people didn't want to be in this event. That's how crazy good this team can be, and also why when we were talking about it yesterday, I'm so adamant that they do need to go and make something happen this season, because right now you're sitting at the best record you've ever had going into the All-Star break with less talent than you've had in the past 25 years, it feels like, with a team that record says they're this good. And because of that, this could be the beginning of the real golden era for this Milwaukee Brewers team when you account for the amount of players that are in their farm system that are on the verge of coming up and look like they could be stars too, man. This is really something exciting. And I think, yes, what we've seen is the golden era of Milwaukee Brewers baseball, but it's not the best of what we can see, I think.
2018 roster. Your catchers were Manny Pena and Eric Kratz.
Awesome.
Okay? Manny Pena hit .252 with 9 homers in 98 games. Kratz played 67 games, 6 homers, and .236.
All right.
First base was Jesus Aguilar.
Is that his All-Star season?
He had 35 homers,
Probably then.
274, 352 on base, 539 slugging. Was an All-Star and 16th in the MVP voting that year. Okay? Nobody had heard of Aguilar really prior to that either.
Not after that
This
either.
is the type of stuff I'm talking about here, right? If Vaughn gets on some type of Aguilar run in the next 2.5 months, that changes everything about this offense going forward. Jonathan Villar at second base. Orlando Arcia at shortstop. Travis Shaw at third base. Shaw that year hit .241 with 32 home runs.
And again, before and after that, nobody really heard of him.
Ryan Braun played 125 games. He had 20 home runs and hit .254. Lorenzo Cain, 141 games. He had 10 homers and hit .308. Christian Yelich was in right. He had a 7.3 win above replacement. Led all of baseball. He had a .326 batting average. Led all of baseball. 36 homers, 110 RBIs, 22 stolen bases, a 402 OBP, league-leading 598 slugging, league-leading 1.000 OPS as well.
Pretty good.
Led in OPS plus, led in ROBA, led in RBA plus, RBAT plus, led in total bases, and of course was the MVP in 2018. So that's what that offense was all about that year, okay? Let's talk about the pitching, shall we? Let's talk about the pitching from the aspect of who was the main starters. Jolie Chassin, Chase Anderson, Junior Guerra, Brent Suter, Wade Miley, Freddie Peralta.
That's disgusting. I love all those guys when they were in Brewers uniforms, but that's disgusting looking back at that.
Zach Davies made 13 starts. Woodruff made 4. Burns played in, how many games? 30 games, but he didn't start a single game that year. Gio Gonzalez had 5 starts that year. Aaron Wilkerson had a start that year. Dan Jennings, I don't remember Dan Jennings. He had a start that year as well. 35 starts by Chassin led baseball with that many starts to a tune of a 4.03 ERA. ERAs of 4.03, 5.22, 4.24, 4.49, 3.59 for Miley, 3.72 for Freddie Peralta.
Wow.
This team here does not have the offense. Agreed. This team here, though, has significantly better pitching. Significantly better pitching at this point.
Well, and if one
and
to two,
better defense, too, probably.
If we're being honest, if 1 to 2 of these guys get hot enough to match with Christian Yelich getting hot to this point, you honestly could match those offensive numbers from 2018 if you look at that.
Right.
I mean, most of that team is pretty unimpressive when you just look at that depth chart. And again, when you talk about what most of those guys did before and after they were with the Brewers that one year, I mean, this Brewers team isn't too far off from that. Yeah, they're not the 2011 team, but man, they could be that 2018 team. Again, 1 to 2 more pieces that just start heating up a little bit.
All right, let's take a quick time. I'll come back on the other side. We'll get to Andrew Wagner, Forbes Sports Brewers writer, presented by Focus Baseball as we go inside the clubhouse coming up at 3:20. Charlie Sounds of the Day at 3:40. But up next, we're going to turn our attention to the Milwaukee Bucks. And we mentioned this yesterday on Charlie's Sounds of the Day. There is a Celtic player, soon to be a former Celtic player, who is out there as a free agent that is being tied to the Milwaukee Bucks, possibly coming to the Bucks. We'll talk about who that is and whether or not you really would want that one way or the other. You should want U.S. Cellular. That's who I have, and that's who I've had for over a decade. And if you are a U.S. Cellular customer, you can participate in US Days going on right now. And it only goes through tomorrow. That's it. It's all done after tomorrow. They're exclusive events to celebrate loyal customers with unique offers. This includes big discounts on new phones and tablets, plus other giveaways and events like parking lot parties. We're talking about DJs, food trucks, bag games. Find out which party is closest to you by going to uscellularparty.com. Again, uscellularparty.com. If you can't make it to a party, all you got to do is visit a U.S. Cellular store, check them out on their website, and find the best upgrade offers of the season. Go take advantage of that today. Again, over a decade, all my family members are involved. All signed up with U.S. Cellular. I've had other cellular companies before. They stunk. Customer service stunk. And I'm sorry, if I don't get good customer service, I'm not sticking around. I don't care if you're a cell phone company, a restaurant, oil change place, doesn't matter what it is. If you don't treat me well, then I'm not coming back. And that's why I kept switching. And my mother finally said, why don't you just go to U.S. Cellular and quit screwing around? And you know, when you're younger, you're like, oh, get out of here. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do everything but that. So then fine, I'll go. Best advice ever. Never went back. Never went back to anybody else other than U.S. Cellular. Up next, we'll talk more about the Bucks and a potential ad that they may have their horizon set on. That's straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer here, Charlie using over there. We are live on YouTube as well. Find us at The Fan Milwaukee. Use the @ symbol at The Fan Milwaukee. We got shorts, we got whole shows, interviews broken up, the whole thing. Check them out on YouTube at The Fan Milwaukee.